There's a lot of news to get to today. Netanyahu was nearly assassinated by Iran. You have Sinwar killed by the IDF in an amazing operation. And I'm going to break it down all here in this news update from Jewish Uncensored. Check it out. Yahya Sinwar has been eliminated. I was away for the holiday, so I did not know this until recently, but he's dead. He's been dead for 2 days now. I wanted to check out drone footage of Yahya Sinwar in his last moments. He's like armed with a stick, and he throws it at the drone. Just check this out. There's no sound, but as you can see, it's moving. The drone is moving through the house. That's Yahya Sinwar right there on the couch. Seems pretty banged up. He's not moving, but looking, the drone is looking right at him. Honestly, if he hadn't moved, he'd probably, be fine, possibly. He's sort of investigating. There we go. Yahya Sinwar. Pretty motionless. And then you see that's a stick right there. He seems pretty defeated at this point. But then suddenly rails back and chucks the stick at the drone. Pretty futile. And moments later, he was taken out by an airstrike. And that footage. This is, an outside angle of him being taken out. Boom. Finished over. And that was the end of Yahya Sinwar. Unbelievable details of Sinwar's death were just released in an incredible video about the autopsy of his death. Definitely worth watching. Check out this CNN report.
Turning to our world lead now, you're looking at newly released video from the Israel Defense Forces showing a tank firing at the building in Rafah where Hamas leader and October 7th mastermind Yahya Sinwar was killed. And now we're getting new information calling into question the IDF's initial claim that tank fire delivered the fatal blow. CNN's Jeremy Diamond is in Tel Aviv for us. CNN's MJ Lee is here in D.C. And Jeremy, you talked with Israel's chief pathologist who did the autopsy on the body of Yahya Sinwar. What did you learn?
Well, Jake, the official line has been that tank shell that was fired at that building where Sinwar was already injured was what dealt the fatal blow and ultimately killed the mastermind of the October 7th attacks. But I spoke to the chief pathologist who actually carried out the autopsy himself on Sinwar's body just yesterday, and he told me that he was killed by a bullet to the head.
The cause of death is gunshot wound in the head. He has a bullet in his head, and there is a severe traumatic brain injury. He has injury from other sources, like a missile injury in his right forearm, a fallen masonry on his left leg or thigh, and many shrapnels that entered his body, but only in the chest they caused the severe damage. But the cause of death is the gunshot wound in the head.
And Jake, Dr. Kugel told me that he is very confident in his assessment, which he reached before being told by the Israeli military what their version of events was. The Israeli military, for their part, told me that they believe that there was an exchange of gunfire and that this battle ultimately ended with this tank shell being fired into the building. But they are still looking into the details of exactly what happened. But certainly this, Jake, is raising more questions.
And Jeremy, the chief pathologist, also told you how they were able to confirm that this body was absolutely Sinwar's. Using a finger?
That's right, Jake. There were actually images of Sinwar's body in the rubble yesterday, some of them where he had his left index finger and others where it appeared to have been cut off. And Dr. Kugel actually confirmed for me that finger was indeed cut off and sent to Israel before Sinwar's body was used for DNA identification. Listen.
They have a suspicion that this is a Yahya Sinwar, and they sent a sample, a finger, that they cut from his body in order to make the DNA profile. And after the laboratory here made the profile, we compared it with the profile that Sinwar had in the term that he was serving here as a prisoner. So then we could identify him finally by his DNA. After the final identification, then the body arrived here. at about 9:30 yesterday.
What percentage of certainty do you have based on that DNA analysis?
100%?
100%.
Yes.
So an incredible report. Again, I mean, the comments on that video are basically he's dead, and the autopsy confirmed that he's in fact dead. And he was actually eliminated by some reservists, some young, supposedly or engaged at least by IDF soldiers that were relatively young, 19, 18, just entered the army. An incredible story. Seems like a lot of the initial reports that it was his tooth that was the one that was, sort of confirmed that it was him. Seems like this contradicts that. So it was his finger. Either way, he is dead as a doorknob, dead as nails. So here's the IDF's official report after the death of Yahya Sinwar.
Behind the October, the IDF recently confirmed that Yahya Sinwar, the leader of Hamas and the face of evil behind the October 7th massacre, was killed in Rafah. Tonight, we are declassifying footage of Sinwar from just a few hours before the October 7th massacre, as well as his movements inside Gaza as he fled over the past year. Yahya Sinwar spent years planning the October 7th attack. Each step was planned to maximize harm to Israeli and Gazan civilians and to minimize harm to himself and other terrorists. See for yourselves. This is a footage of Sinwar just hours before the October 7th massacre, where Sinwar was hiding his family and equipment, including beds, pillows, food, and water, and a television. He was hiding it inside Hamas underground tunnel network. He was doing that all night alone with his family in order to keep his position classified. It was all happening in Khan Yunis. This was a luxury that the people of Gaza did not have. Sinwar always prioritized himself, his money, and Hamas terrorists over the people of Gaza. While hiding in the tunnels of Khan Yunis, Sinwar ordered the October 7th attack to begin. After they invaded Israel, Sinwar's army of terrorists murdered families, raped women, and kidnapped men, women, children, and babies into Gaza. 101 of these hostages are still held in Gaza after a year in captivity under ruthless conditions. Throughout the war that Sinwar started, he continued to hide underneath the people of Gaza. In Khan Yunis in February, our troops found supplies meant for a long stay in Sinwar's underground hideout, including a lot of money, food, beds, documents, a shower, and a kitchen. Then IDF operations in Khan Yunis forced Sinwar to flee to Rafah. Last month, Sinwar's DNA was found on a piece of tissue he used, a few hundred meters from a tunnel where 6 Israeli hostages were brutally executed in Tel Sultan in Rafah. Then Sinwar fled yet again. While Sinwar was running for his life and went above the ground, this was the first and last time that he encountered Israeli soldiers in a combat. Sinwar was eliminated by the IDF in Rafah last Wednesday. I want to emphasize it again. This was the first and last time he encountered Israeli soldiers, and he was eliminated. There were no hostages with Sinwar when he was eliminated. Killing Sinwar is the result of a year of operational and intelligence efforts to bring him and other Hamas leaders to justice. Sinwar has been eliminated, but our mission is not over. We will not rest until we bring all our hostages home by any means possible, and we will continue to defend the people of Israel from all threats on all of our borders. Thank you.
All right, so that was the IDF's official spokesman talking about what happened with Sinwar. There was actually a lot of controversy over a Birkin bag that Sinwar's wife appeared to have in that footage on October 6th, 2023. Believe it or not, that's Sinwar's wife. Not exactly that great looking. And that bag she was holding was actually a Birkin bag. Dr. Ellie David broke it down. So Dr. Ellie David reports Sinwar's wife on October 6th, long before, hours before the massacre, walking in tunnels with a $32,000, Hermes bag. Hermes Birkin bag. European aid money not put to good use. So this is like, the Palestinians are oppressed, but you have Sinwar's wife, with her Birkin bag. And, we all know that they're worth billions of dollars, these Hamas leaders, these savages. So here's Netanyahu's initial message right after the elimination of terrorist leader Yahya Sinwar. Check this out.
1 year ago, Yahya Sinwar, the terrorist chief of Hamas, launched the October 7th massacre against Israel. It was the bloodiest attack on the Jewish people since the Holocaust. It was the worst attack on the Jewish state since the founding of Israel. Sinwar's terrorists murdered in cold blood 1,200 people. That's elderly people, Holocaust survivors, children. They brutally raped women. They beheaded men. They burnt babies alive. And they took some 250 men, 251 women, men, and children hostage to the dungeons of Gaza. Today, the mastermind of this day of sheer evil is no more. Yahya Sinwar is dead. He was killed in Rafah by the brave soldiers of the Israel Defense Forces. While this is not the end of the war in Gaza, it's the beginning of the end. To the people of Gaza, I have a simple message. This war can end tomorrow. It can end if Hamas lays down its arms and returns our hostages. Hamas is holding 101 hostages in Gaza, who are citizens of 23 countries, citizens of Israel, but citizens of many other countries. Israel is committed to doing everything in our power to bring all of them home. And Israel will guarantee the safety of all those who return our hostages. But to those who would harm our hostages, I have another message. Israel will hunt you down and bring you to justice. I also have a message of hope to the peoples of the region. The axis of terror that was built by Iran is collapsing before our eyes. Nasrallah is gone. His deputy Muhsin is gone. Haniyeh is gone. Def is gone. Sinwar is gone. The reign of terror that the Iranian regime has imposed on its own people and on the peoples of Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen, this too will come to an end. All those who seek a future of prosperity and peace in the Middle East should unite to build a better future. Together, we can push back the forces of darkness and create a future of light and hope for all of us.
So that was Netanyahu reacting to Sinwar's death with a message to the people of Gaza, essentially surrender and work for a better future for everyone. Definitely a much needed message at this time. Hopefully, the Hamas fighters understand that whoever takes the leadership position is going to die and that the cause is futile. Here are some Gazans congratulating and sending kisses to Netanyahu. So I guess that's congratulations for eliminating the arch terrorist Sinwar. Hopefully it is. I'm not sure. The Gazans generally have been pro-Hamas, but it could be that now they're changing their stripes. After every terrorist assassination, it's fun to play the infamous video from Donald Trump after he eliminated Qasem Soleimani, and I wanted to play that just for laughs. Check this out.
Last night was a great night for the United States and for the world. A brutal killer, one who has caused so much hardship and death, has violently been eliminated. He will never again harm another innocent man, woman, or child. He died like a dog. He died like a coward. The world is now a much safer place.
That's a brilliant analysis by Donald Trump. Not wrong in any regard. I also wanted to show some people celebrating because, you know, a wicked guy is eliminated. A lot of people are celebrating. And there's people celebrating in Iran. This is a video of a man celebrating Sinwar's death in Iran. Check it out. He's saying, I love you, Bibi, keep it up. And he's saying, he's mocking Sinwar. And just, there's a lot of people that agree with him. Sinwar was obviously a tyrant. He was the head leader of Hamas on the ground, while Ismail Haniyeh was the political leader. He was more technical, and he was the one who was in Gaza. There was a great, unbelievable report by Erin Molan, who broke down essentially what happened with Sinwar and how, Israel, is incredible, just incredible moral clarity from Sky News Australia's host, Erin Molan. She's been incredible in the past, and we featured her on this channel before. Check it out.
In arguably the biggest moment since the war began, Israel has killed Hamas leader, October 7 mastermind, Yahya Sinwar.
We begin this hour with a major development in the Middle East, though, that could change the course of the war. Israel has killed the leader of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar, in southern Gaza.
It wasn't Mossad who got him, nor was it elite IDF fighters. A group of trainees and reservists took out enemy number one. He died as he lived, like a coward, cowering in the shadows, hiding in buildings bombed off the back of his terror raid. It was a drone that captured these shots from his last moments alive. Look at him. He was no freedom fighter. He wasn't leader of any resistance. He was evil personified. He was also weak, so very, very weak. He knew that he was no match for soldiers, no match for an army. That's why he went for women, children, unarmed innocent men, teenagers, the elderly, Holocaust survivors, the sick, the disabled. And then he hid, using the bodies of his own people and those he'd kidnapped as human shields. He was no hero, no idol. I don't care who you are or what you believe, but nobody, no government, no religion, no so-called resistance could ever justify his reign of terror. And any attempts to do so, well, they're disgraceful. Prime Minister Netanyahu with this message for those still in Gaza.
To the people of Gaza, I have a simple message. This war can end tomorrow. It can end if Hamas lays down its arms and returns our hostages.
Followed by this.
And Israel will guarantee the safety of all those who return our hostages. But to those who would harm our hostages, I have another message. Israel will hunt you down and bring you to justice.
And after today, well, after this year, find me someone who doesn't believe him. You won't. World leaders, of course, reacted. Our Prime Minister said he was an enemy of the Israeli people and an enemy of peace-loving people everywhere. His death is a significant moment and can be a vital turning point in this devastating conflict. US Vice President Kamala Harris.
In the past year, American special operations and intelligence personnel have worked closely with their Israeli counterparts to locate and track Sinwar and other Hamas leaders, and I commend their work. And I will say, to any terrorist who kills Americans, threatens the American people, or threatens our troops or our interests, know this: we will always bring you to justice.
Now, I don't want to put a dampener on what is a very good news day for the world, but come on, we will always bring you to justice? Madam Vice President, you have done everything in your power to stop Israel from doing this. He was killed in Rafah. You told Prime Minister Netanyahu not to enter. In fact, you told the world.
We have been clear in multiple conversations and in every way that any major military operation in Rafah would be a huge mistake. Let me tell you something. I have studied the maps.
You weren't even present in Congress when Netanyahu spoke of how his country was fighting terror on behalf of all of us. You kept calling for a ceasefire, fully aware that the other side would never stop. So in other words, you demanded a proud nation of good, strong, resilient people lie down and die. You underestimated them, like so many others in the world. You hindered this rather than helped. The president himself, remember, having recently blamed Netanyahu for the deaths of 6 hostages. Have a look.
It's a good day for the world. I called Netanyahu to congratulate him getting Sinwar. He had a lot of blood in his hands. American blood, Israeli blood, and others. And I told him that we were really pleased with his actions. And further that now's the time to move on. Move toward a ceasefire in Gaza. Make sure that we move in the direction that we're going to be in a position to make things better for the whole world.
You honestly could not make this stuff up if you tried. Erin, Foreign Minister, directly to Israel, don't go into Rafah. So to the rest in the West and all of those countries who cowered, just like Sinwar did at the end, this victory is in spite of you, not in any way because of you. So make your speeches, say all the right things, hail the death of an evil terrorist, take credit if you must, but know within how you enabled him. You encouraged him, allowed his reign of terror to go far longer than it ever should have. Every single person who failed the most basic test of moral clarity on October 7. Killing kids? Oh, complicated. Raping women? What's the context? Burning people alive? Resistance? All those who joined a movement that glorified death, who marched in our streets waving their flags and chanting for more. Sinwar is responsible for every single death that has occurred in the Middle East since October 7 and many before. But his global cheer squad, wow, take a bow. You played a big part, and most of you are too stupid to even realise. Where did it all go so wrong? Honestly, it's a legitimate question. How did we get here? How did those we elected to lead us fail us so miserably? And how did that then seemingly filter down to the masses? No one ever had to make a choice between supporting Israel and supporting humanity. Standing up for innocent children goes hand in hand with destroying the terrorists who were killing them. October 7 was a dark, dark day, the most horrific thing I've witnessed in my lifetime. But do you know what's been even worse? The soul-destroying reaction of all those around the world who purport to stand for life, freedom, democracy, and peace. This won't just go down in history as the worst massacre of Jewish people since the Holocaust, but as the darkest day for leaders all over the world who were tested and the vast majority of whom failed miserably. Those who stood tall despite their relentless campaigns to do otherwise will be remembered. Those who shrunk and sold their souls will be as well, for very different reasons. The earth is now a much safer place, thanks in no part to the majority of the Western world.
Wow. An incredible, incredible monologue from Erin Molan, who's been an incredible, voice of moral clarity throughout this war. She had a great take the last time that Israel killed Hassan Nasrallah, and a great take today. I would definitely follow Sky News and check out what they're doing over there. It's incredible. Sky News Australia, that is. Sky News, the actual Sky News, is actually very anti-Israel. And now moving on, Donald Trump had some words to say after the assassination attempt on Netanyahu, and this is what he said.
He's called me, yes. He's called me. I have not spoken. I'm going to speak to him probably now.
What are you going to tell him?
Well, look, he's doing a good job. Biden is trying to hold him back. Just so you understand, Biden is far superior to the VP. He's trying to hold him back, and he probably should be doing the opposite, actually. I'm glad that Bibi decided to do what he had to do, but it's moving along pretty good. Everything's moving along. Yes, you have a...
Sorry, that was Donald Trump on the assassination of the Hamas chief leader, Yahya Sinwar. Strong words. He's saying, do what you got to do, and I would have supported you. This is Bibi Netanyahu 2 days after the assassination attempt. This is his reaction.
Sir, how is it going?
Well, 2 days ago, we took out Yahya Sinwar, the terrorist mastermind whose goons beheaded our men, raped our women, burnt babies alive. We took him out, and we're continuing our battle with Iran's other terrorist proxies. We're going to win this war.
So will something deter you?
No.
So obviously that's a little bit of, marketing on his part, showing strength. Sinwar is eliminated, but there was another piece of news which is very, very important to get to. Today, Khomeini tried to assassinate Netanyahu. His Iranian Shahed 101 drone hit Netanyahu's residence in Caesarea. Now Israel saw all the legitimacy for a proportionate response. So earlier today, Iran attempted to assassinate Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu by targeting his private residence. This provides Israel with all of the legitimacy to target the residence of the Islamic Republic's supreme leader's residence. Okay, so that's Dr. Ali David with some typos there. Khomeini's failed assassination attempt on Netanyahu today will be the embodiment of the phrase, "It was at this moment that he knew he effed up." Here are pictures of Iran's failed assassination attempt on his residence in Caesarea. Iran's official IRGC Quds Force Telegram channel published this photo showing a direct hit at Netanyahu's residence. They are taking pride in their assassination attempt. This is the photo of the house. The window is shattered. It is well known the Prime Minister spends most of his Saturdays in his private residence in Caesarea. Iran's drone attack striking his residence on Saturday was a calculated attempt to assassinate him. All of these reports are by Dr. Ali David, an unverified. It's not like a news account, but it's someone that independent journalist. Most of what he says is usually correct. Again, so big news because Sinwar is eliminated. Then Netanyahu is almost assassinated in his residence in Caesarea. And this is Netanyahu on the attempted assassination on his life. The attempt by Iran's proxy, Hezbollah, to assassinate me and my wife today was a grave mistake. This will not deter me or the state of Israel from continuing our just war against our enemies in order to secure our future. I say to Iran and its proxies and its axis of evil, anyone who tries to harm Israel's citizens will pay a heavy price. We will continue to eliminate the terrorists and those who dispatch them. We will bring our hostages home from Gaza, and we will return our citizens who live on our northern border safely to their homes. Israel is determined to achieve all of our war objectives and change the security reality in our region for generations to come. Together we will fight, and with God's help, together we will win. That's Netanyahu, invoking God's name, which is an incredible, sign to religious Israelis, religious Jews. Strong message from Netanyahu, and this is right after they almost assassinated him, much like Donald Trump's response. Very, very strong. This was the Speaker of Israel Parliament at Amir Ohana after Iran's assassination attempt on Prime Minister Netanyahu. He said, Iran made a huge mistake today for which they will pay such a heavy price that they will regret the moment they learn to fly a kite, let alone a UAV. This is the video I'm going to play right now.
mistake. איראן באמצעות הפרוקסי של החיזבאללה עשתה היום טעות קשה, שהם ישלמו עליה המחיר. להערכתי, אגב, אחרי המחיר הזה שהם ישלמו, הם יצטערו על הרגע שהם למדו להעיף טיסן, לא כל שכן כטב"ם.
Strong words from the Speaker of Israel's Parliament, Amir Ohana, and I can't disagree with the sentiment. I'm sure he's very angry right now. There was an incredible video of the attack on Netanyahu's Caesarea residence, and this is just a footage of that attack, of Hezbollah's attack. Drone footage. So that was the drone on top of his residence. Definitely did some damage. Okay, so again, Netanyahu targeted an Iranian attack on his residence in Caesarea. They did some damage. They missed. And now Netanyahu has to respond. Sinwar is dead, eliminated by the IDF in an airstrike after a drone spotted him. He tried to throw some sticks. No hostages were with him, and he's gone. So overall, looks like 2-0 to Israel, and they've been making gains across, for the last couple of months, really systematically eliminating the top leadership of these terrorist organizations, and hopefully the lower rung will understand that it's futile. And I think that there was one video, which is very important to show, of Hamas terrorists surrendering, understanding the futile task that's before them, and deciding that it doesn't make sense to continue after their leader was just eliminated. So again, this is footage of Hamas terrorists, hundreds of Hamas terrorists surrendering after the news of Yahya Sinwar's demise made public. Okay, as you can see, they're just sort of shuffling past, giving themselves up, and there's a whole bunch of them on the side over there, and then there are a few just coming through by that tank. An incredible sight to see, and a hope that more and more of these people will see sense and understand can't mess with Israel anymore. So there's that. Everything looks everything seems to be going well for Israel. A failed assassination attempt against Netanyahu, and a successful attempt and death and elimination of Yahya Sinwar. For more, subscribe to the channel to stay updated. If you want to help us make more of these videos, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JewishUncensored.